Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It's Hila here from Saturday Night Stitch, and thank you so much for tuning in. So today's post is a magazine browse through of the July 2019 issue of Burda Style. Okay, we're going to dive straight into it, and do stay tuned until the end so that I can share with you my thoughts on the issue and which pattern I've definitely decided that I'm going to make, and I already have it traced out. Okay, right. So pinks and blues, the cover is popping, I think. So well done on the cover. I like yellow, and they've got yellow on there. And I know these kind of things, they kind of matter to me sometimes. Okay, there's your contents page. And there's an interesting tutorial here on how to do your own vinyl print on a jacket. It's pretty cool. I kind of feel like I should do more stuff like that, you know, instead of just sewing, adding embellishments to my garments. And you've got some cute cushions, small little cushions, and a tutorial. Ooh, the day I cross over to the dark side of doing home furnishings, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. It's just like one of those areas of sewing that I have no interest in at all. Even though I know it would be beneficial. But yeah, so all of this stuff is kind of going. Okay. Now, this is the first pattern that we have. Stylistically, you know, they've stamped Africa on there because I think that would be the only way that you could tell that this was in Africa. But, you know, I think that this is in South Africa, actually, because I've noticed that they seem to like doing a lot of photo shoots in South Africa, and I can't blame them. It's really beautiful weather there, especially in Cape Town. Okay, now back to the patterns, right? Simple asymmetrical top with like a binding on it. It's a super easy pattern. It's great for beginners. That's all I can say about it. And then over here, we have some high-waisted paper bag waist shorts. Reserving judgment on those. And then we've got a beach cover up, which I think would actually be very useful. Okay, I'm going off to Italy in 10 days, and we'll be away for 2 weeks, and we'll be at the Lake District in Italy. So definitely going to be needing something cover up-ishy. So this looks to me like something quite functional. And that's it. And then over here, we've got a dress with some shearing details, and it's sort of like a drop shoulder, cold shoulder thing. It's not doing much for me. This is a tall size pattern, and it's one of those invisible tuck under tops. I've definitely seen something like this before in several different places. Personally, I'm not a very big fan of this style because you can't tuck it in. And I think that would limit me in terms of what I could wear with it. And then over here, there is a skirt with like an extended waistband that you fold over. Interesting. It's got like a center front pleat. You can't really see the detail because they've used quite a busy fabric, which I think is always quite a shame, because if you're going to go through all the trouble of, you know, adding on these interesting seam details and then you use a busy fabric and then people can't really see what it would look like, it's, you know, a little bit disappointing, but never mind. And then we have a simple tunic top with a deep V-neck, and I think it's got a tie. It looks like that's a casing where you sort of thread it through. I like the colors, the blues and the yellows. They're very evocative of summer. Yeah, so I think that this would be a nice simple. Oh, hang on, that's been given a 3 dot for something that simple. I don't know, I may be wrong. Okay, moving on to the beach side. We have an extra long cardigan with some simple tie belts there. And, you know, that's all right. Over here, we've got a maxi dress. Now, usually I get very excited about maxi dresses. But this, it didn't do anything for me personally, because I kind of feel like I've seen this so many times, and I don't know whether it's because I'm suffering from maxi dress fatigue. Nah, it can't be that. No, I still love my maxi dresses. But yeah, it's just a simple top, and then they've added a flounce to it. Beautiful fabric though. I like that fabric. It reminds me of, there's an art gallery fabric that's got similar brush strokes. Okay, now this tunic, I actually quite like this tunic. And I'm not too sure whether I like how they have sewn it up in this light blue linen look chambray fabric. And they've used like this tiny rickrack trim on the hems and to emphasize that seam line. And I just think that that looks really fresh and light and crisp. And that's very attractive for me. Whether that's a style that would suit me necessarily, I'm not too sure. It's a bit too long. I don't think I'd be able to. Oh, hang on. I just noticed that this isn't a top, guys. This is a dress, because it doesn't look like she's wearing anything else with it. Yeah, that's probably a little bit too short for me. I know I do like short things, but gotta say, unless if she's wearing shorts, maybe she's wearing teeny tiny shorts, but yeah. And this is a petite size. I literally just picked up on this. I've browsed through this, but I hadn't noticed that she isn't wearing anything else except that. Yes, interesting. But yeah, I like the interpretation of that. And I kind of wonder who's in charge of deciding what fabrics they use for these designs, because whoever did that did a really good job of it, in my opinion. The featured sewing lesson in the July issue is the paperback waist shorts. So those are really great for beginners, and because the pattern itself, the pattern pieces will be shaded in, so it's a lot easier for you to trace them out. Okay, right, and then we've got a feature on sandals for the seaside and other stuff. And then we have the one maxi dress 3 looks feature. I always like this because these show you styling ideas for how you can wear your handmade garment. And yeah, I like this. This reminds me, I need to make myself like a denim shirt or a denim jacket. Okay, and then we have all of these stripy tops here with this cute little bow detail on the sleeve. And I gotta say that is really cute. That is really cute, and I think that's a great way to make your shoulders sort of pop. But I'm not sure whether it's the fabric, because you can never go wrong with a striped t-shirt. There's just something about the cleanness of and the contrast of the dark stripe against the white background. I think you can literally get away with wearing a rectangular piece of fabric and it's got stripes on it. It will just look awesome. Okay, so that was that. Okay, so then we have a simple halter neck top with a thick banded neckline. Now, I think that this would only work if you're using silk, because it's a summer top. And for me personally, I have really poor circulation. So when I'm wearing something that's going to be exposing my shoulders and my chest, it has to be like a really warm or a really hot day. And on a really hot day, the last thing I want is anything touching up against my neck, because I kind of want it to be free. So I feel like given how thick that neck band is, I would struggle with it unless if it was made of the finest silk that, feels like that I would feel like there's nothing against my neck. So if I were to make this, I'd probably reduce the width of that and not make it so thick, because I think I'd find that frustrating. Case in point. Okay. And this top is basically that maxi dress that we saw with the pink colors before, but it's just been, cut off at the skirt to make it into a top. Interesting choice of fabric. I like the texture on that fabric. And then we have that t-shirt that was the first pattern that they showed on in the end. This is given a 1 dot. And again, this is simply a sleeveless t-shirt, and then you sort of put a little band on it. That would just be like, so I'm not sure I could give points for innovative thinking on that one. Okay, and then we've got a jacket here, which it's got an interesting concept. It's got like a tie band at the bottom. This I'm trying to think where it might be useful for me, and I'm really struggling to think about that. And then we've got a top, a simple top. Now, this is a great pattern simply because sometimes you need to have a simple style that will work with stunning and expensive fabrics, okay? So, you know, a style like this, you probably need a meter of fabric to make it, and it doesn't have any complicated cuts or anything like that. And you could use bias binding for the neck and for the armhole. So this is a useful thing to have, absolutely. Okay, and then we've got the Catwalk inspired pattern, which is this Raglan Sleeve top, which has got sheer fabric, some frilling. I'm in two minds about this. Stylistically, it looks stunning, absolutely stunning. Would it work for me? I don't know. I really don't know. It's got raglan sleeves. Not sure I'm a big fan of the puff sleeve. Like maybe it could be a cap sleeve. Yes, I'm just gonna pin it over there. Pin it over there. And sun cream. Always remember to wear your sun cream, especially if it's summer. But if you're in the UK, you don't get a lot of sun, so don't worry about sun cream. Okay, right. That top again that I went on about, and this time it's like in a 60s style print. It's polyester. Okay, it looks alright. I think that they've styled it really quite nicely with it. Let's see. Okay, and then we have a shift dress here, which has got upturned bits. I don't know what you'd call this, but it's a raglan sleeve. I quite like raglan sleeves. If I were to make this, I probably wouldn't bother with those upturned bits on there. Well, I suppose they give it like a paper bag waist look. It might be worth trying just to see what that looks like. Yeah. Okay. Now this men's shirt pattern. I'm just going to take a mo with this one. Okay. Because I have sewn this pattern before for my husband 2 years ago, I believe. So this pattern is actually available as a paper pattern on the Burda paper envelope patterns. So the first time I saw this, I was like, surely it can't be. Is it? Maybe they've tweaked it or something like that. But it's exactly the same. And I'm going to put a picture up of the one that I made for my husband. He looks stunning in it, by the way, even if I do say so myself. But yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, listen, you know, I get it. Sometimes, you know, when you're in a workplace, some people get sick or their children get sick and they have to call in sick, or people go away on holiday, you know, for whatever reason. And sometimes, you know, you're just showing up at work, but you're not showing up at work. And so you kind of expect everything to sort of go clockwork. So I kind of feel like this came about probably because they didn't have the full team working, so they couldn't get any patterns out in time. So they were just like, let's plug something from the back catalog. And that's all fine. We've all done that. We've repurposed content, or we've, you know, taken an old report and just changed the names of the clients and stuff like that because we just, you know, life got in the way and we didn't manage to get the work done. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, listen, you know, I kind of feel like you can't do that. You know, but that's just my own personal opinion. I'd really love to know what you think about this, about the repurposing of a pattern envelope. I don't think I mind so much if it's a magazine pattern that's sort of like coming back into play, because sometimes you can't get that magazine, right? So if a popular pattern, if they reprint it again in a current issue, then people who couldn't get their hands on that can get to it. But an envelope pattern, I mean, come on. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this in the description box. In the comments box down below. Anyway, moving on, rant over, okay? Moving on, we've got some trousers that have like flappy over thingies. I just imagine that if there's a breeze and these kind of like open up and you're walking and they're kind of like flapping. There's that top again. Admittedly, it looks a lot better in this fabric. I think it works a lot better in this fabric than in the other fabric, like the color of that fabric. And then we've got some swimsuits, which I think is a nice, great addition to summer sewing. But I don't sew my own swimsuits. That's a whole other thing. But there's some cute kids swimsuits on here. And I might make those for my girls if I find the right fabric, because one of the reasons why I don't do my own swimwear is because it's so hard to find like decent swimwear fabric that doesn't degrade quickly if you are swimming a lot in chlorinated water, which is what I do. So yeah, so very cute. I really like that. I think that that's really cute, and I think that my girls would really like those. Okay, there's that swimming suit again, getting a closer view of it. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now I'm going to take a moment with this photo shoot. So sometimes when I'm not feeling inspired, particularly by the designs or the line drawings of Burda magazine, I like to look at the styling, because the nice thing about Burda is you're getting kind of like high fashion feel to it, because they do put in a lot of effort in their photo shoots. I mean, they travel around the world to, you know, take these pictures, and you know, the entire operation in terms of their production values, they have very high production values when it comes to their publications. So when I'm not being inspired by the actual designs, I do like to kind of look at it as a fashion magazine. So I saw this picture and I stopped. And I was like, what's up with that? You know, and I called my husband and I was like, babe, can you tell me what's going on in this picture, right? And I'm kind of like trying to think, okay, is the photographer a paparazzi looking in? And then if so, then she's like doing a power pose, right? And I'm kind of like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I can see that, you know, you wake up first thing in the morning, you stand there and you do your power pose. I've done that. And then you got our boy here. You know, he's just kind of like chilling there and he's looking at her with his hand on his watch. I don't know if that's product placement or whatever, but, you know, it just felt to me like this didn't work in theory, because I couldn't understand where I'm supposed to be on this. And am I looking through glass? Am I being a peeping Tom in this? But yeah, I was just like, okay. Right, you do you with the power pose, you know, go for it, you know, and he's just like, yeah, I'm absorbing the power pose, what I'm looking at. This is funny. So my husband and I had a bit of a giggle at this, which is a good thing if you're not being inspired by the patterns themselves. Yeah, and there's a cute little girl's dress with a frilly flounce. If I had to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't spend this much time doing a frilly flounce, because my girls grow so fast. Yeah, so I tend to stick with easy things to make for them. And then again, another cute little girl's top with a scalloped hem, which looks deceptively easy, but a scalloped hem is not easy. It is not easy to get those points just right. There's that tunic dress / top again. This time it's been worn as a top. They've used a pink and white candy stripe fabric, and they've used some piping to really make that neckline pop and this empire seam line. And I think it's kind of cute. I like the 50s throwback with those glasses. I'd love to get me some glasses like that. And there's the accompanying shorts to go with the top and that scalloped hem. Cute. The simple top, again, they've used like a stunning pow fabric, and I think that works. And then you've got this simple trousers made in stretch cotton, like cotton sateen, and then they've got like these cute little tie things on the legs. That's adorable. Might consider that. And they've got a side zipper. That's interesting. Right, those paper bag waist trousers in just a simple blue crepe. They've got a different drape when you use when you use viscose. And there's that shirt again, the repeat shirt. And guess what? One of your featured sewing lessons is that shirt that comes from the patterned envelope. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna say that much about it. Let's turn around. There's some styling pictures here. Okay, so they're going with a retro theme, which is why you had like the 50s throwback. The vintage pattern reprint is from, I think they're saying it's the 1950s. And it's a, I want to say Grecian style, but I may be wrong there. It's just got a simple neckline, and then you have your free-flowing fabric. They've added a belt to cinch it in at the waist, but the plus sizes, you got this cardigan with a flounce at the bottom. I'm digging the paisley print. I think that the paisley print is quite nice. And then this, what's going? Okay, so this kind of looks like it's narrower at the hem, like it goes in. No, not a big fan. I quite like this top because it's got the raglan sleeve and a bib. Like, I think that this would be fun to do some sashiko embroidery on the bib. I've done something like that actually, this sashiko embroidery. But yeah, that's a cute one. And then you've got these denim Capri trousers. They remind me of these Gertie. I think, yeah, Gertie. Is it a Batik pattern? I think it was a Batik pattern, but I really liked them. And when I saw these, I was just like, oh, it's just like those two pairs of trousers that I've made, and I've used the pattern before. So yeah, digging the paisley and the blue. I think that works really well. I'm not sure, but I think that's Cape Town in the background. I think that's just in front of the Table Mountain somewhere. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Okay, some more shearing is turning up, and sort of like an off-shoulder thingy with this wide sleeve, very 70s style. I like the fabric. I'm not sure how it translates into an actual wearable style. And then the same long cardigan again, but this time it's got a fringe, which looks great in principle. It does. It looks really great in principle. But good Lord, those things are so annoying when you're trying to get anything done because the frills kind of just get into stuff. Yeah. You can tell I speak from experience, right? Okay, so there's that nice tunic top with the raglan sleeve again, but they've just lengthened it into a skirt. It makes it look like a kaftan. That's it. Yeah, I think it makes it look like a kaftan. It doesn't have any shaping to it. I suppose you could wear it with a belt, but I like the play on stripes. They've gone with horizontal stripes on the bib and then vertical stripes everywhere else, and a cute little flower trim. Awesome. And then you've got your sewing lesson, which is how to make a, I think it's called a thread chain, maybe. And fabrics feature, some dyeing issues, and so there we go. That is July 2019 Burda. Now I do these things every month, and when I receive my magazine, I'm always, I always go into this with an open mind, looking for the positive, because I'm that sort of a person. And I know a lot of people like to complain about Burda, and I do get that in the comments sometimes, where people kind of think that I'm the one that designs the patterns for Burda. I don't. I'm just sharing what I enjoy about Burda. And they do 12 issues per year, every month. I personally do not expect every single issue to be something that clicks and resonates with me. So if you like this issue, then that is fantastic. You probably don't want to hear what I have to say about it. But for me, personally, this just did not work that well. There wasn't any pattern that I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta make this. What fabric do I have that could work with this? How can I make time to make this? Which is what I kind of generally like from sewing magazines. But like I said earlier, I get it. When you have a corporation and you rely on people, sometimes people aren't there, sometimes people aren't showing up, and sometimes ideas run dry. It happens. And I think that this issue for me is probably the issue that is the one that is just there because I am a completist. I want to have my complete 2019 set, just like I have my complete 2018 and my complete 2017 set. And that's the only reason why this is probably going to stay in my collection. Plus, there's also the fact that they repeated a pattern which they're already, selling as an envelope pattern. That kind of thing makes me think, oh, okay, hang on. Hopefully, it's just a one-off, and they don't actually do that again. So yeah. So I looked at it, and there wasn't anything in there that I actually thought I might make in the future or anything. So what I did was I challenged myself because, your girl, she likes to get value for her money because, I paid for this. So I was like, I got to use it somehow. So I made myself sit down, go through it over and over and over again until I could find one thing that I could make and that I will make, because I know once I put this away in its folder, it is probably not going to come out again because it really hasn't sparked anything in me. So anyway, I decided on a pattern and I traced it out straight away. I made the time to trace it out straight away, and I just have to sew it up because then at least I can say in good conscience to myself and to the frugal mind in me and say to her, yeah, you used it. At least you used it. At least you got your money's worth. So I'm going to show you which one I chose. So this is the pattern already traced, ready to go. And I chose top number 117. Okay. So that's the one that I was banging on about with the, where are you? Oh dear. Sorry about that. Okay, where is it? There. That's the top that I am going to make. I have a pink silk fabric that I think is just going to be quite right for it. And I'm going to work on narrowing that neck band. But this had to be done so that I could get some use out of the money that has gone towards buying this. So if you do have some things that you like from this, absolutely go ahead and buy it. But if you have just one thing that you like from it, buy a PDF pattern. Or if you're lucky enough to have a friend who is a Burda completist like myself, borrow the magazine from them and trace out the pattern that you want. But again, guys, this is all just my own personal opinion based on my own stylistic sensibilities. So, by all means, do go look at the patterns yourself and, really let me know what you think about this issue. Are you a lover or a hater of this? I mean, no, I'm not a hater. I don't want to say hater. Hater is a very strong word. I didn't bond with it, and I found it very hard to find just the one thing that I could bond with it in this. So that was Burda July 2019. I hope that you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up down below. If you haven't already, do subscribe for new sewing related videos every week or so. I try and bring them out every week. And until I see you next time, happy sewing. Bye.